What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours, where there is a lot of topics to discuss. Firstly, the biggest news has been that Paris Saint Germain want to activate the release clause of Ousmane Dembele. We're hearing a lot of controversial reports that Dembele actually already agreed to go to PSG, that he will go, and some reports saying that he won't stay at Barcelona. We're going to take the situation, analyze it, and see what happens with Dembele's future. Also, of course, Barcelona still want to sign players in the market. They have around about a month left of the Mercado, and they want to sign 2 players, one a right back and one a creative midfielder. We have some updates on the signing of Bernardo Silva, and also on the right back with Cancelo and Fresneda. Now, of course, with the signings coming in, Barcelona need to make sales. We have huge, and I mean huge, update on the sale of Franck Kessie, on Clement, Lenglet, on Sergino, Dest, on Ferran, Torres, and with Kessie, he now wants to leave the club, and apparently Tottenham Hotspur are very interested in Kessie, and we could see Giovani Lo Celso, who will play that Barcelona wants as that creative number 10 player coming in, being involved in that deal. We have some details on the official sale of Nico Gonzalez. We have some players who want to stay at Barcelona. We have an update on Garcia, Lamine Yamal, Fermin Lopez, injury updates on Gundogan, Christensen, Xavi, and Arnau Tenas, and finally an update on the Super League, where Barcelona are considering pulling out. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. And also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 48 hours. Now we're going to be discussing firstly one of Barcelona's priorities currently still in the market, and that is to make a signing in the right back department. Now, Alex Pentel for Relevo. Now he's actually signed for Relevo instead of I think he was with Goal from before. So journalists even making moves out here. Anyways, he's come out saying that Barcelona will make an effort to sign a right back. Dest didn't convince against Arsenal, and Sergio Roberto is not seen as a fullback. Of course, Roberto did play in midfield yesterday against Real Madrid. Koundé is an option in that position, but Fresneda and Cancelo are the options, but with the Portuguese being favored by Xavi. So again, really nothing new there, apart from the fact that more reassurance that Barcelona want to sign a right back this summer. The 2 options are Fresneda and Cancelo. Xavi wants Cancelo, Aleman wants Cancelo, but Deco is more in favor of Fresneda. Now, Javi Miguel from AES also came out saying that he confirmed basically what Alex Pentel came out saying that the coaches see Sergio Roberto and Marcos Alonso as the backup fullbacks, and the starters currently being Alejandro Balde and Jules Koundé. Dest will be sold and is expected to reinforce the right back position. Joao Cancelo is Xavi's request, but it won't be easy, and with Fresneda there is no consensus. So Xavi wants Cancelo. The operation is difficult. Pretty much everyone in the club can agree that Cancelo would be a good reinforcement, but with Fresneda there's no total agreement, even though the operation for him is easier. Now again, I've been preaching about right back this summer, and to be honest, both these 2 options for me are very, very good. If I could pick, I would also pick Joao Cancelo, but if we sign Fresneda, I would not be disappointed whatsoever. I just want to sign a right back. I think it is absolutely pivotal. We've seen Koundé now play 2 matches in preseason. Both were at center back, played 90 minutes against Real Madrid. Center back made some last-ditch tackles, was absolutely phenomenal. His aura at center back is ridiculous when he has a consistent run in that position. When he moves to right back or center back, in and out, we see a center back, he gets vulnerability. We saw that last season. Of course, he played majority right back. He came against, I remember, a center back against United was shocking. So he needs a run there. He can't be chopping between both, because both are very 2 very different positions, especially for someone to adapt to. So for me, just signing a right back is the most important thing. We'll wait and see how things develop. I think the club right now is still focused on sales. Kessie, Lenglet, Dest included. We'll wait and see with those. Once those are to the line, I think the club will then push for right back. I think around middle of August. I think once the league starts is when the club will push for a right back. I doubt we'll make a signing before August the 13th when Barcelona play their first match in the league against Getafe, but I do hope and I do suspect by the end of the window we will sign a right back. Now, along with a right back, another position that Barcelona want to reinforce by the end of the summer transfer window is of course the midfield, with bringing in a number 10 / creative midfielder. Now, we saw the lineup of course against Real Madrid where Xavi did use 4 in the midfield, and if you take out Pedri, let's say Pedri gets injured, there's no suitable replacement. We have no other creative midfielder, and if Xavi wants to stick with them for midfield for the majority of the season, someone has to come in, and of course the number 1 target is Bernardo Silva. Now, Cat Radio have come out saying that Man City will not allow Bernardo Silva to leave. His signing for Barcelona therefore seems complicated. So again, Man City, the club, want to keep Bernardo Silva. Why wouldn't they? The only way Bernardo Silva can leave Man City with open arms is if he puts in a transfer request or tells Pep he wants to leave, because Pep does not want a player who wants to leave. That's why he gets rid of Cancelo, got rid of Mahrez, Gundogan. Now, this of course does make the operation a bit difficult, and also that Man City will be asking for a lot of money. According to reports in England, they want a €100 million package, which for me makes no sense. He went from last summer costing 80 full package to this summer 100, where he was in and out a lot of the Man City team. Of course, he was in the starting lineup for the Champions League final and that last month, but during the entire season he was in and out a lot, and this really makes no sense. But of course, from now until the end of the transfer window, we can expect Barcelona to make more signings, because Sport have come out saying that Barcelona sources say there can be a big signing in this window, but it is conditioned by 1 or 2 big exits, and that everyone should stop bothering if the club is working or not. There is more than a month left, so the club is working. They're looking at more exits right now than signings, because they need exits for signings, but once those exits are made, the club can still play around a lot in the market, with the expectation that Barcelona will sign a right back and also someone as a creative midfielder. We'll wait and see how things develop, but again, the club still working on more signings despite the fact there hasn't been that much news over recent weeks, because right now their priority is exits. Let's now discuss the players who have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past 48 hours. Like I just mentioned, currently the club right now in the market, their priority and what they're working on are exits, but the biggest exit rumor over the past 48 hours has been about a player who's actually a starter, and that is Ousmane Dembele, a player who Xavi absolutely loves. Now, the news broke from France. It's coming in from RMC Sport and also from Foot Mercado. They both come out saying out of the blue, out of nowhere, Ousmane Dembele is very close to signing for PSG. Advanced discussions between the two parties. The 26-year-old has a release clause, of course, of €50 million before the end of this month, July 31st, and it will rise to €100 million once August the 1st hits. And the Frenchman is seduced by the move. This came out of nowhere. Breaking from France, PSG are close to signing Ousmane Dembele. Again, once the release clause is activated by any club, the decision comes down to the player. He can still reject that move and stay, or if he accepts it, Barcelona literally cannot do anything. Now, once this report came out, we got more reports from France, Fabrizio Romano, and then all the Spanish reports. Now, there's another reporter for L'Equipe who's very, very reliable, very, very close to PSG. He came out saying that PSG denied that Ousmane Dembele's arrival is imminent, but they don't deny the possible negotiation. So PSG are basically saying it's not close, but we are talking. Fabrizio Romano, who's also very close to Dembele's camp, came out saying that Paris Saint Germain have started contacts to potentially activate Ousmane Dembele's release clause of €50 million valid until July 31st. The possibility is being discussed, but nothing is done yet. And again, Dembele's position will be crucial, because again, when the release clause is activated, it's like if you're a free agent, it is up to you if you want to stay or leave. So this is coming in from France, and then Fabrizio Romano is basically all over the place. The Spanish reports are completely and utterly different. Fermin Martinez from Deportivo came out saying that from Ousmane Dembele's entourage, they confirmed PSG's offense, but they deny a move is close. They explained that the player is not concerned by these things and is concentrated in the United States with Barcelona. His idea until now had to be to continue at Barcelona. What's more, the same source also assures that he's happy at Barcelona. Negotiations for his renewal are still ongoing, as he's currently focused on preseason. Juan Marti came out saying that Barcelona do not want to sell Dembele, and as of now, you don't have any offers from PSG, although his name is on the table for the French club. As for Barcelona knows, Dembele's idea is the same, to continue at Barcelona. Nico Dest from Cope came out saying that Ousmane Dembele has no agreement with PSG or nor any formal offer, at least for now. PSG have shown interest, but it's not the first time they've contacted his agent, but Dembele is happy at Barcelona and with open negotiation for his renewal. Miguel from AS came out saying that all comment Barcelona regarding Dembele, the club believes that this is a tactic from Dembele's agent to speed up the player's renewal, which does make a little bit of sense. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo came out saying that Dembele wants to renew and play for Barcelona, even when interest of course arose from Saudi Arabia. Nothing has changed with this interest. Gerardo Romero came out saying that for the moment Dembele still wants to stay at Barcelona. My bet today, if someone was to leave, the chance of it being Rafinha is higher than it being Dembele. So Rafinha's name has just been thrown into the mix, which again makes sense because the concrete offers for Rafinha are higher than Dembele. And then we have Raccoon come out saying that PSG want to trigger Dembele's 50 million release clause, but the player is happy in Barcelona and there are renewal talks. Alex Pentel from Relevo came out saying that Xavi does not want to lose Dembele. The coaching staff is convinced that Dembele wants to continue in Barcelona and renewal talks are ongoing. Sport came out saying the news from the French media about the PSG and Dembele does not cause any particular concern in the dressing room. Xavi is 100% sure the Frenchman will continue. Catalonia Radio came out saying that Ousmane Dembele is committed to not leaving Barcelona by activating his 50 million euro release clause. He wants to stay at the club. Then finally, L'Equipe again came out saying that Ousmane Dembele is still in talks with FC Barcelona for a contract renewal, despite the interest from PSG. So, everyone in Spain is denying that Dembele is close to PSG. Of course, there's always talks. I think Dembele even spoke about PSG in an interview a few weeks ago, maybe during the international break. I remember reading about it, something like that. But it's still a concern because if the release clause is activated and Dembele says, yes, Barcelona is losing one of their best players and Xavi is losing one of his key assets in his Gala 11. Of course, this all took place before Dembele scored yesterday in the Clásico. Now, I want to bring up a quote from the vice president of the club, Rafael Uste, who spoke about Ousmane Dembele's renewal a few days before this news broke out about PSG. He came out saying that on Ousmane Dembele's extension, it seems like a never-ending story. Every year the same thing happens to us. Dembele really likes Xavi, and it's a slower process than the others. I hope we end up with a good understanding for both sides. So Uste is saying the same story always takes long, but Dembele wants to stay and Xavi loves him, so we always hope it just works out. Now, after this quote came out a few days ago, now after all the initial reports that came out that I just covered, all the sort of stuff, I think the night before the Clásico, Fabrizio Romano came out saying that PSG are focused on triggering Ousmane Dembele's 50 million euro release clause, but nothing's done yet, and everything again will depend on the player's decision. Then we entered the pre-match press conference where the captain, Sergio Roberto, was doing the press conference, and the first question he was asked is about Ousmane Dembele. He came out saying, I don't see Dembele leaving Barcelona. He's our most decisive player because of the way he plays. He's key on the pitch for us, and he's very loved in the dressing room. That's a very good point by Roberto. Keep in mind, Dembele, he's probably the 5th captain. The next captain who leaves, I think he's next in line. He is that high ranked in the Barcelona dressing room. And this is Barcelona we're talking about. But this is like Man City or Bayern Munich or I don't know, another big team. It makes, you can have that conversation, but Dembele going from Barcelona to PSG is a downgrade. Not only is he a starting player for Barcelona, he's one of the leaders of the dressing room. He's 5th in the line to be the leader in the dressing room. And when you're going to PSG, it's a downgrade. We've seen Neymar beg to leave PSG every single summer he's left. Messi didn't like it there. All the top players who go to PSG always regret it. And that's the reality of it. I think Dembele goes there. He may play well, but I think he will regret it, and we'll hear rumors about him coming back to Barcelona every single summer. Now, following the win in the Clásico 3-0 against Real Madrid, Xavi was asked in the post-match press conference about Ousmane Dembele, and he came out saying that Ousmane Dembele, we will see. In the transfer market, you never know. I see him happy, and if there's something, he will tell us, but for now, he's here, and he is happy. Now, I'm not too happy with that quote because that pretty much Xavi leaving the door open for Ousmane Dembele, saying that we'll see in the transfer market, you just never know. So it could be either a safe answer from Xavi, a cop-out answer, or he's just telling the truth. I really don't know. Listen, With them boosts, it will come down to him. Of course, there's quotes about him saying he loves Barcelona, he wants to win the Champions League with Barcelona. He touched the Champions League trophy at Jordi Alba's farewell presentation. I mean, what else? There was jokes about him in the Busquets press conference farewell, where he could become the captain, all this sort of stuff. He speaks fluent Spanish now. He's one of the leaders in the dressing room. And you're at Barcelona. It's not like you're at Man United or like Man City or whatever the case may be. This is Barcelona. But we'll wait and see. This is the reason why we had this release clause in there, because, you know, his renewal last season was complicated. And keep in mind, if his renewal is activated, his release clause is activated, Barcelona don't get 50 million. We'll only get 25 million, and Dembele and his agent will get the other 25 million euros as per agreed. I think with the 100 million euro release clause, the full release clause is given to Barcelona. I don't think there's a 50-50 split on that. Of course, the club had to do this to reduce contract last summer. So we'll wait and see. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to Dembele. If PSG communicate to Barcelona, we're going to activate Dembele's release clause. Barcelona cannot do anything. They can try to convince Dembele, but they can't really stop the transfer. And it will come down to Ousmane himself. We saw him score yesterday in the Clasico. He celebrated. He, you know, looks very connected and happy with the team. But we'll wait and see. Again, PSG is not the first time they come knocking for Dembele. They want to bring him in as a replacement for Kylian Mbappe, whose future we don't even know anything about. Again, it's going to be a waiting game. For me, if I can talk to Dembele, I'd say to him, look, everyone who leaves Barcelona always regrets it. That's the first thing. Secondly, you're going to a team that's worse. Thirdly, just wait 2 days to this costs 100 million and give us double the money. If you're going to leave for 100 million, fair enough. We invested 105, we get 100 million back. We can reinvest that in the squad. It is what it is. If you decide to leave, you decide to leave. But for 50 million, we're really only get 25. You know, we're being shafted. So if you can just wait. It's of course now today, July the 30th, which does mean on Tuesday, the day after I upload this video, his release clause will rise to 100 million. So we have 48 hours to survive this, which pretty much means if PSG want Dembele for a good price, and, you know, to get the deal done quickly, they have to get it done the next 48 hours. So time isn't really on their side. The club can delay this. Of course, he's in America. He has to do medical checkups, all this sort of stuff. So I don't think it will happen for 50 million, but it's down to time, and also down for Ousmane Dembele to push on his side as well. Because if he says yes, he'll have to fight at PSG, go and strike up Barcelona, do his medicals, agree terms with PSG as well. So we'll wait and see what happens. But again, PSG are sniffing around for Ousmane Dembele. They are ready to activate his release clause. But it all comes down to the yes or no from the French winger. Now, Ousmane Dembele isn't the only player who PSG are sniffing around for in the Barcelona squad. They've also looked at Pedri. Now, there's this ridiculous rumor that apparently Pedri has a temporarily 110 million euro release clause, and that PSG are ready to activate it, and Pedri is open to the move. I've never heard about the release clause. I've never heard such crap in my life. What does a temporary release clause mean? And why would Pedri agree to it? And why would Barcelona give it to him? Makes no sense. Now, with Pedri, he's of course very crucial for Barcelona. I think he's a Barcelona fan. I think he wants to stay. But I think if a big move like this comes to Pedri, I think he will think about it. Because I remember him saying in an interview once before that, I want to stay at Barcelona all my life or whatever. But you never know how life happens and things like that. So that's why I wasn't really shocked about this. But again, Pedri is gonna stay. Sport came out saying that PSG are indeed interested in Pedri, but Barcelona have referred to them to his 1 billion euro release clause. If an astronomical offer arrives from Qatar, they can evaluate, but his intention is to continue at Barcelona. So I think the only thing that will get Barcelona sniffing around is a 200+ million euro offer. Of course, PSG are not going to activate his 1 billion euro release clause. If they do, then I mean, adios, Pedri. But 200 million, I think if they bid that, Barcelona will consider it for sure. Also, Gabriel Sanz from Martinez Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Pedri's only desire is to succeed at Barcelona, and he's not for the task of leaving. Luis Enrique hasn't demanded his signing either. It's true that the two have spoken, but that was before he joined as the PSG manager. Now, also Fabrizio Romano came out saying there's absolutely nothing going on with Pedri PSG. Barcelona, he loves Barcelona and he wants to succeed there. There's no 110 million euro release clause as well. It's only a release clause is 1 billion. Now, apparently Luis Enrique wants Pedri but does not want to request for Pedri because he does not want to upset Barcelona and the fans, because of course he's a culé himself. I mean, it was never going to happen. Pedri is, I think, more crucial to Barcelona than Ousmane Dembele, but I think both of them are absolute top talents, and I do hope that both of them continue at Barcelona for the future. I think with Pedri and PSG, nothing in it whatsoever. Again, if PSG want him, they can activate his €1 billion release clause and then have to agree personal terms with Pedri. So they can activate his €1 billion release clause and Pedri can still say no, which would absolutely be hilarious. But I think if PSG do bid around €200 million, the club will take a look at it, analyze it, see what they can do with it. But I doubt it will happen because Pedri is so committed to Barcelona, because he's a Barcelona fan, and that's the most important thing. When you play for a team you support, it's very hard to break that relationship. So I usually say we'll wait and see what happens, but I'll tell you right now it's going to happen. Pedri se queda. But Pedri isn't the only Spanish Barcelona player that has been linked with PSG. Another one is, of course, Arnau Tenas, who technically isn't a Barcelona player anymore as his contract did expire 30 days ago, but it looks like he is set to sign for PSG as a free agent and snub Barcelona over a renewal. Mateo Merito from Liga has come out saying that Arnau Tenas to PSG is close in the absence of some details. They've offered him a 2-year deal. In the background, Las Palmas are also there. They could try and convince him with the sporting aspect, as he can be a starter there. So with Arnau Tenas, it's up to him. Would he want to be a starter at Las Palmas or the second choice goalkeeper at PSG? Now, if it was third choice goalkeeper, I would choose Las Palmas, but second choice, you're one injury away from starting. You start the cup games and maybe some rotation. Maybe Donnarumma has some niggling issues or some things that come up family-wise that make him absent from the team. He's only one step away, and also you do have Luis Enrique, who is Spanish and has and does know you from when he was his time as the Barcelona coach. I mean, we'll wait and see. Again, if Barcelona do renew his contract, their plan is just to loan him out immediately. And for Arnau Tenas, it doesn't really matter if he signs for Barcelona, then goes to another team, or just signs with another team in general. But it looks like he will sign a short-term deal with whoever he goes to, whether it's Las Palmas or PSG. 2-year deal. And again, I think Arnau Tenas can definitely be the Barcelona goalkeeper for the future, whether it's after Ter Stegen. Well, definitely will be after Ter Stegen, but you do have Iñaki Peña there competing. Again, Xavi did pick Iñaki Peña over Arnau Tenas. That's definitely something to think about. I think, again, Arnau Tenas, his distribution is very good, but he doesn't. His decision making isn't that great. I think as a stop goalkeeper, he's all right as well. I've seen him play only a handful of times, but the most important thing about Arnau Tenas is that last season he was very, very big in the dressing room. So seeing his departure is a bit sad, as he is, you know, a very, very true culé. So we'll wait and see what happens with Arnau Tenas. But it looks like he is set to join either PSG or possibly Las Palmas on a permanent deal, and will not be renewing his contract with Barcelona. Now, Ousmane Dembele's exit is not the biggest Barcelona exit that has been talked about over the past 48 hours. Another one has been Franck Kessie, where there has been a complete U-turn over the past 48 hours. Now, I want to show you this U-turn. Firstly, Cancelo came out right after the Arsenal, I think the morning after the Arsenal match in preseason, saying that Kessie is insisting on staying and succeeding at Barcelona. If the case permits, the board cannot sign other midfielders that Xavi wants. Of course, Xavi wants a number 10. I think in the match against Arsenal, he played around half an hour or so. But after the match, I think the afternoon, evening afterward, things took an absolute U-turn, with Mateo Merito from Liga breaking the news, saying that Franck Kessie is now open to an exit from Barcelona for the first time. He is willing to leave. The relationship between Franck Kessie and Xavi is now at its lowest point. Barcelona want around 20 to 25 million euros and could also accept a loan with a buy obligation. Kessie's preference is a move to England, and he won't lack offers from there. Wow. So Kessie says, I'm going to stay. I'll leave if a decent offer comes in. I want to leave. I don't know what has happened. We saw, Xavi and Kessie talking during the match against Arsenal, when before Kessie was getting subbed on. He looked intrigued, looked like he was understanding and listening and all that sort of stuff. But now he wants to leave. Also, Ferran Sport came out saying that Franck Kessie wants to leave Barcelona. He regrets not accepting the offer from Saudi Arabia and is hoping they'll make another offer to him in the future. So again, with Kessie, we've always heard that if he was going to leave, it's either to a Premier League club, maybe Bundesliga, and maybe Saudi. He does not want to go back to Italy. We heard that Juventus were very interested. We heard even Barcelona had an agreement for a buy option loan for 50 million. That has now collapsed. We've heard nothing about the Juventus offer. We actually heard that Juventus have pulled out of the deal as they have other priorities, and Barcelona weren't too keen on their offer. So the Juventus move has fallen through. So you're probably wondering, where's Kessie going? There is a team that's interested. As Mateo Merito said, England clubs are interested, and he won't lack offers because there is an offer on the table from Tottenham Hotspur. Gary Jacob has come out saying that Tottenham Hotspur have renewed their interest in Franck Kessie. So apparently Tottenham are now sniffing around for Franck Kessie, and I cannot express enough how badly that will benefit Barcelona, because of course we are interested in one of their players, Giovani Lo Celso, to come in as that number 10 creative midfielder that Xavi wants. Having Miguel from AS came out saying that Barcelona sees Kessie's sale as a big positive, as they remain very keen on the signing of Lo Celso. Now on Lo Celso, Gerardo Romero has come out saying that Clement, Lenglet, or Franck Kessie going to Tottenham Hotspur could facilitate Giovani Lo Celso's arrival at Barcelona. Lo Celso is liked by Barca, and it is a viable option if either of them go to Spurs. Hear me out. Honest to God, I am being completely honest. I would offer Tottenham, here's Franck Kessie and Lenglet, give us Lo Celso. 2-for-1 combo. Take it or leave it, because to be honest, I just want to get rid of Lenglet. But I think, you know what, in today's market, Franck Kessie and Lo Celso are valued the same. Barcelona want 25 million for Franck Kessie. Tottenham want, according to reports, 25 million for Lo Celso. Why not swap it? Or if you're swapping it, you can actually do, we pay for Lo Celso and then you pay us for Kessie to balance the books a bit better instead of doing an actual swap. I'd be all over that. Now, quickly on Lenglet's future, it ain't looking too good. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona are beginning to fear that Clement Lenglet's exit will not take place. The problem is that his 16 million euro per year salary, although there is interest, there are no firm offers on the table, as Barcelona also want a transfer fee. His contract ends in 2026, and leaving on loan again is not ruled out. However, Barcelona won't be paying any of his salary this time. I think when he went to Tottenham, we paid like 10% of his salary, something like that. Anyways, Barcelona wanted 25 million euros from Spurs, but they tried to considerably lower the fee, aligning with his high salary. So Tottenham, I think, are still interested in Lenglet. Keep in mind they need a few center backs this summer. They can get Fresneda and Sanchez. They already want to bring in a center back to begin with. They were interested in Tapsoba from Leverkusen and this Van der something from Wolfsburg. They've signed neither. So I think if they're given the opportunity to sign Lenglet, they would definitely take it. And of course, this will benefit Barcelona with the signing of Giovani Lo Celso. But with Kessie, we'll have to wait and see. I think Kessie now's at the door. And also, the big thing about Kessie, he didn't play against Real Madrid yesterday. He stayed on the bench for the entire game. I think now the door with Kessie is going to end up closing. And I think he will leave Barcelona very, very soon. We'll talk about his, timing of his exit in a few seconds. So wait and see what happens with Franck Kessie. Again, I believe he's out the door next. Of course, we just sold Nico, Chad Riyad, Alex Collado. I think the next one in line is Franck Kessie, and hopefully also Clement Lenglet. And with that being said, hopefully the club can play smart and try and get a deal for Giovani Lo Celso, especially with the signing of Bernardo Silva being very complicated. Now, as we all know, Barcelona's priority currently in the market is to sell players. We have, of course, sold Nico and Collado and Chad Riyad over the past few days, and while those exits have been officially announced, Miguel from AS has come out saying that Clement Lenglet, Sergino Dest, and Franck Kessie will be the next players to leave Barcelona. Ferran Torres' departure from Barcelona is also still very possible. So these are the next 4 names out of Barcelona. Couldn't agree more. I think with Ferran Torres, just if a good offer comes in, yes. If not, then whatever. But I think, Kessie wants to leave. We need money. Get rid. Lenglet, please get rid. And Sergino Dest. You know what? Xavi said, you know what, mate? I'll give you a chance. Dest is like, yes, I want to have a chance. He spoke to Mundo Deportivo before going on the plane to America. This is my chance. It's up to me. Blah, blah, blah. Little Captain America speech. He has been shite in preseason to the point that Barcelona are now scared. Having Miguel from AS came out saying the club is worried they will not find a way out for Sergino Dest. Every game he plays, he's worse, and his chances are increasing of leaving. And Barcelona are at the point where they even would consider a contract termination if no offers arrive. I mean, like I said in my match review, he got cooked by Vinicius. I mean, even besides getting cooked by Vinicius, barely completed a pass. I think even against Arsenal in that 45-minute he played, did not complete a pass, did not, make a dribble, did not do anything. Was just crap. The guy is just absolutely mid. We gave him the chance. I was even surprised that Xavi gave him the chance in the first place. He gave it to him, and he's failed. 45 minutes against Arsenal, 20 minutes against Madrid. Not a single second he played well. I'm not even exaggerating. So hopefully we get rid of him. Again, I think the club, if they get a loan offer and someone covers 100% of his wages, they probably will take it at this point. I do hope we can get a sale or get rid of him permanently via contract termination. But wait and see. Maybe we can talk to a club like, I don't know, I think we're top of Luton Town from the Premier League. We go to them and say, hey, look, we'll give you Dest for free. You give us a 30% of his future sale. Take his salary. Bish, bash, bosh. Everyone's happy. So we'll wait and see with Dest, but again, the club want to get rid of him. Now, also in the report, it mentions Ferran Torres. Now, on Ferran Torres, having Miguel from AS also came out saying that everything indicates that Barcelona will try their best to force Ferran Torres to leave the club. Now, keep in mind, Ferran Torres has been doing quite alright in preseason. 2 games, 2 goals. You know, he's doing the little Rashford mind celebration and all that. The reality is that it looks like Xavi wants to play with 4 midfield. If we're going to play 4 midfield for the majority of the season, we do not need 6 forwards, especially a forward who's crap. I mean, past season has not been performing well and has sat on 150 grand a week. The issue is that this is going to come to a point where it's going to be down to which players leave and for what offers come in. That's why Gerardo Mero said that he sees Rafinha leaving more likely because the club needs sales. They have offers for Rafinha, Saudi Arabia, and Newcastle, and their hand might be forced into accepting that offer, even though Xavi wants both Rafinha and Dembele to stay, and if he can pick one of the forwards to leave, it would be Ferran Torres. But the situation does not allow that, and that's what gives Ferran Torres the upper hand. So we'll wait and see what happens. Again, the club have made it very clear. They've gotten rid of some of the fringe players like Nico, some athletic players like Chadriyad, looking at moves for Estanis, Pedrola. They've gotten rid of Collado, so they're making the moves they need. But now it's time for the big ones, the players that can actually bring in some transfers, if a transfer fee, if done rightly. With Kessie, I bet the club get at least 20 million euros fixed. So if we get anything under 20 million euros, even as a package, I would be devastated. With Lenglet and Dest, you just gotta get rid of them. If we can just get rid of them for free without covering their salaries, happy days. But they do have a market. I mean, Dest can do alright for some teams. Same with Lenglet, and of course with Ferran Torres. It comes down to what offers come in. The club might even accept a low move. We're hearing that there's some reports in England saying that Aston Villa are still interested in Ferran Torres. So we'll wait and see what happens. But right now, Barcelona are very, very focused on making some big sales imminently in order to reinvest into the first team. But an exit that has been officially announced by Barcelona is the exit of Nico Gonzalez. We got the here we go, of course, I think around 48 to 72 hours ago. And yesterday before the match, Barcelona officially announced the exit of Nico, saying in an official statement that Barcelona and Porto have reached an agreement for the transfer of Nico Gonzalez for 8.5 million euros. Barcelona have reserved a repurchase option and a right percent of a future sale. So again, the details that we already knew. We're hearing the percent of the future sale is around 40%, and the repurchase option was supposed to be around, I think, 15 to 18 million euros. But then Fabrizio Romano came out saying that in addition to the 8.5 million euro transfer fee, Barcelona have reserved a 40% sell-on clause for Nico Gonzalez, and the buyback option for Nico is 30 million euros, and it's valid for a year, or technically 2 years, until June 30th, 2025. And Nico signed a 4-year deal, or 5-year deal, should I say, sorry, and it has a 60 million euro release clause. So we do have a 30% discount on his release clause, but it's very, very high buyback option. We only sold him for 8.4, so I expected the buyback to be around 15, 18, at the most 20. I think 30 is very, very expensive, but hey, if he plays well and he explodes and we need an interior, Xavi all of a sudden changes his mind and sees him as a pivot, 30 million euros is still a very, very good price for Nico. Look, I wish him all the best. I think he'll do very, very well in Porto. Do I think he'll come back to Barcelona? I think only the situation is right. Will he ever come back? I would put my bet right now to no. But I think if circumstances are in the right place for him and he explodes, you never know. But again, that's money coming in for Barcelona. We thought it was going to be 8 million euros. It's actually 8.5. So we will take that. And Nico officially departs on a permanent transfer from Barcelona. Let's now take a look at some of the players who have been rumored to be staying at Barcelona over the past 48 hours. First up is Eric Garcia. Now, I want to tell you guys that this report actually came out before Eric Garcia played very, very well in the Clasico yesterday. Gabriel Sanz and Deportivo came out saying that Eric Garcia talked to Xavi as he was worried about the rumors that he might be sold. However, Xavi reassured him that he'll stay at the club unless an irrefutable offer arrives. Now, Eric Garcia is concerned that clearly means that he wants to stay. Of course, at the moment, he's currently 5th choice center back if Inigo Martinez is fit, but since he isn't fit, he's 4th choice center back. Look, he came on against Real Madrid and played very, very well. I mean, his passing out from the back was fantastic. He put in some good tackles. He wasn't getting done for pace, so against preseason, you can't really read too much into it, but hopefully he does improve. I think Eric Garcia, he's a center back, but his worst trait right now is defending. I think in terms of reading the game, his distribution, understanding his defensive position is perfectly fine. I think his actual defending isn't that great, but he defended very well against Madrid. Again, with Eric Garcia, it's always 50-50. Sometimes he plays well. I remember last season he played very well against, what was it, Elche or Cadiz at home, something like that. I think he also played all right in some of the games where he came in, but sometimes he started games, he was poor, gave away a few penalties last season as well. So it's been a bit of a ropey season for him last season. Hopefully this season will be better. I think if he plays well and he does accept his role, he can stay at Barcelona. If not, he can leave. So wait and see what happens with Eric Garcia. You just never know in the market if an offer comes in. I think an irrefutable offer for Eric Garcia is around 15 million euros. I think if 15 million euros comes in, the club will accept it no matter what. Again, we only need 4 center backs. He's our 5th choice. He wants to stay as a squad role. He's on fairly reasonable salary. I think he's around 80,000 a week, which isn't too bad for a squad player of the level, of course, of Barcelona. So we'll wait and see what happens with Eric Garcia. I think he will end up staying, but if an offer comes in, the situation could change. Now, a player who Xavi has confirmed that he will be staying as part of the first team for the upcoming season is Fermin Lopez, a player we've talked about a lot on the channel recently, and of course got 1 goal and an assist last night against Real Madrid in the Clasico. After the match, he was asked about his future, and Xavi said that Fermin Lopez will not leave on loan. He will stay with us this season, so he will be occupying one of those B team players or Barcelona Athletic players roles in Barcelona. Of course, last season that was occupied by Pablo Torre. This season it will be Fermin Lopez. Again, I've been talking about him a lot on the channel, that he's been exploding in training, that Xavi really likes him. He got an opportunity against Arsenal, he was alright. Against Madrid, he came on 70th minute and in the match with a goal and an assist and a golazo for his goal, I might add. So looks like Fermin Lopez will be getting a chance in the first team for the upcoming season. Most likely, I think he'll play a lot with Barca Athletic. He'll be maybe on the bench for the first team if we have injuries and things like that. But if you don't sign a creative midfielder, whether it's Lo Celso or Bernardo Silva, Fermin Lopez might get a lot more opportunities because, again, he's right now the backup for Pedri if Pedri gets injured as that creative attacking midfielder. So always with Fermin Lopez, again, with these youngsters that we produce, you never know how they get their chance. They do well, they get their chance and they do poorly. They burst on the scene, they do well, poorly. I've seen it go both ways, so can't rush too much into conclusions. But again, on paper right now, he's playing well, he's scoring goals, getting assists, and that's why Xavi is giving him a chance. Now, another youngster that will also be part of the first team next season and has committed his future to Barcelona is Lamine Yamal. As we all know, he has his agent Jorge Mendes, who's the same agent as Alejandro Balde, and he did sign a renewal with Barcelona for a 3-year deal, his first professional contract until 2026. Fabrizio Romano came out saying that Lamine Yamal has already signed a new deal at Barcelona. It will be announced after the preseason tour, alongside the announcement of Alejandro Balde, and the new deal is valid until 2026. So again, more confirmation that Lamine Yamal has renewed his contract and has committed his short-term future for Barcelona. Again, he will be part of the first team next season, similar to Fermin Lopez. Probably be a Barca Athletic player, play with them, and then if he gets a chance in the first team, will play. Did not play in the Clasico last night against Madrid, but I expect him to get some minutes on Tuesday against AC Milan. Let's now discuss some injury updates around the first team at Barcelona. In the match last night against Real Madrid, we did see 2 players go off with injury/discomfort, and those 2 players were İlkay Gundogan and Andreas Christensen. Now, Candacev reporting that neither Christensen nor Gundogan have an injury, it's just discomfort. The changes, of course, at the time have been made as a precaution. Gundogan has discomfort in his right adductor and Christensen in his Achilles tendon. So apparently both players should be fine for the match on Tuesday against AC Milan, but of course in the match against Real Madrid, they couldn't finish the game. Now, on Gavi and Inigo Martinez, still no concrete reports about their injuries. We all thought that Gavi was going to be at least fit to come off the bench against Real Madrid. He wasn't. We all know that Inigo Martinez still needed more time. I suspect Inigo Martinez should be ready for at least the Joao Gamper. I'm hoping that Gavi will be available for the AC Milan match. I don't know about Inigo Martinez, he might be a 50-50, but if Gavi isn't 100% for AC Milan, I'll be very, very worried about him. But with Inigo, I hope he does play at least the Tottenham Joao Gamper match, but we'll wait and see with him. But again, these are going to be niggling injuries for Gundogan and Christensen. They should be fine, but with Gavi and Inigo Martinez, it is a bit more long-term, but hopefully they're back before the end of preseason. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is Barcelona potentially pulling out of the Super League. Now, this is coming in from Relevo, and it's coming in from a Madrid-based journalist in Relevo. He's come out saying that Barcelona are considering leaving the Super League because of a few reasons. One, the relationship between Barcelona and Madrid is not the best at the moment following the Negreira case. Secondly, to make a gesture towards UEFA in order to prevent any sanctions on the club regarding the Champions League. Now, of course, Barcelona have already been confirmed to be participating in the next Champions League, but after that, you never know. And again, we do know right now the relationship between Barcelona and Madrid isn't that great. I'm not quite too sure about this because Barcelona have invested a lot of time and effort into the Super League. Of course, not really money, and they are abided by a contract. I'd wait and see on this. I'm going to wait for the first El Clasico of the season in the league in October. I think if Laporta and Florentino Perez do have a lunch before that, I think we will not pull out the Super League. But if we don't have a lunch or the traditional president's lunch, I think the club might pull out the Super League. So we'll wait and see. Again, the Super League right now isn't really a hot topic, so to speak. They're still waiting for that court hearing to, officially proceed with the Super League. But again, Barcelona, I think it's very, very clear it has crossed their mind to pull out the Super League. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. First, your thoughts on Ousmane Dembele. You think he'll make that move to PSG or not? Second, your thoughts on Barcelona signing a creative midfielder, whether it's Bernardo Silva or Lo Celso. You think that will happen or not? Along with a right back, you think that will happen or not? And also, who would you go with as a creative midfielder and as a right back? And finally, your thoughts on Barcelona's sales in the likes of Sergino, Dest, Clement, Lenglet, and more specifically Franck Kessie. A, do you think these sales will happen? And B, do you think Barcelona will get the price that they want? And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.
Yeah.